Welcome to Attention Central Texas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Robin Durham, and my guest in the studio this morning is Zach Alexander. Welcome, Zach.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're glad that you're here. I'm very excited and interested to know more about the foundation. It's a PTSD Foundation of America.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were sharing with me that it's a 501c3.
We are.
And a faith-based organization. And you have chapters all across the United States. So that's exciting, and we're hoping that you have one here soon. Tell us about the organization and how it got started.
So there's a man named Gene Birdwell. He was, a World War II vet. He saw that a lot of veterans were struggling, and mainly with PTSD, and he wanted to do more, than just what the VA was doing. So he started the foundation, and he built what we call Camp Hope, which is a residential recovery center for combat vets who struggle with PTSD. And it helps these combat vets, it helps us take an in-depth look at our issues and helps us to work through them step by step and grieve and ultimately get a grip on what it is that we're dealing with without having to use outside influences such as, self-medicating. I'm a recovering addict, and that's what I try to use, and a lot of combat vets do the same. And
absolutely.
Ultimately, we lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and our goal is to stop that because we definitely deserve more.
That's right. So the residential facility recovery program is located in Houston.
Yes, ma'am. It's located in Houston.
And how long are the vets able to come and stay?
It's about a 4 to 6 month program. That average, we don't make anybody leave. We've had people come in and stay for a year. It's self-based, and however long it takes for you to work through your issues, that's how long you get to stay. We do say around average, the average guy gets through within 4 to 6 months. Because the first 4 months is when you actually take a dive into your issues and you work through them. And then the last 2 months is what we call transition. So for the guys who don't have a place to live, or they need a vehicle or a job, we help them do all of that. We have a finance lady on staff to get your credit together, build a resume. We help guys get vehicles. If you don't have a place to live, we'll help you get a place to live. If you don't have furniture, we'll help you do that. A lot of organizations help us to do that. So anything the combat vet needs to live a day-to-day life once they leave the program, that's what the transition is for, and we help them get all of that as well once they go through the program. So.
And you shared that it's free of charge to the veterans. Tell me a little bit about that. What, as you're talking for them to dig deep into issues, you have counselors on staff, obviously?
We call it peer-to-peer mentorship, so it's other combat vets who've gone through the program helping other combat vets. We also take the residents to a place called the Refuge. We're licensed trauma counselors where they get one-on-ones with licensed LCDCs, sit down with them one-on-one and help them work through their issues, not just PTSD, but the other, because we have more than just post-traumatic stress disorder. We have a lot of issues that need to be dealt with, and they help them dive into those as well. So they get the round robin of everything that they're struggling with. They get that licensed counseling one-on-one to help them deal with that as well.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, you're a 501c3, so you're fundraising often.
Yes,
and what we've noticed, of course, we're a military community. There are a lot of people co-laboring together and just a heart for veterans to be taken care of, at least in our area. And so it's exciting to hear about this residential recovery program, and that it is free of charge to the veteran, even to an airplane ticket to get there. Because I was hoping maybe they were going to establish one here in the Killeen area, a residential facility, because we really need that. And the long-term care is so needed. We have so many people meeting immediate needs. But I was sharing and asking about how that works, and you actually pay the ticket and have an escort. Share a little bit about the process.
So we have chapters across the nation. So when we have a guy who calls in and he wants help, we get one of our staff members from that chapter to go out to meet him. We talk with him. We give him the paperwork, lay out what we are and who and what we do, and then if he chooses to come, we'll buy your plane ticket there. And when you get there, go through the program, we'll buy your plane ticket back as well. And we don't want them to have to stress about anything. We want everything covered so that once they get here, they know I can focus on myself and leave all that outside stuff, you know, outside, and then get a grip on who I am first and figure out because that's the main issue we deal with is an identity loss. You know, I was in the Marine Corps. I went from, you know, leading Marines through battle to unstocking a truck at a local sports store that doesn't even exist anymore, and it was hard for me to make that transition. That's really what we're trying to do, is help these guys transition.
And establish an identity,
Yes,
as
ma'am.
you said. And you are a faith-based program, and you talked a minute to me about an 11-step program.
Yes, we work through what's called the Combat Trauma Healing Manual. It is an 11-step process and it's also a workbook for the combat vet as well as their family members too. And they just work through that workbook step by step that helps them to go through the process of dealing with what we dealt with in war and how we can overcome that. And it's really amazing because it takes you step by step by step. It's self-paced, and it shows you, okay, how can we take a faith-based approach to what it is that I dealt with, and what does God say about who I am and what I dealt with and who I am now, and how I can grieve that process and move forward with my life to where this isn't, you know, PTSD is what I have, it's not who I am.
That's good. So you said you dealt with other problems other than PTSD as well, and it's not a forceful religious program. You mentioned that to me. Yes. Anyone is welcome.
Absolutely.
This 11 steps, you'll talk about the Lord, and and what you said to me was you are going to take every avenue to help.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
So I want that to be clear as well, because there may be some folks with veterans that in their family or veterans in their neighborhood that might shy away from a religious organization.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had atheists, we've had Wiccans come through our program. We don't force you to believe in God. We don't make you believe in God.
Amen.
This is how we do it. You believe in whatever you want to believe in, and we just want to help you get through it.
And you mentioned that you give them the opportunity. They're exposed to the things of the Lord.
Yes, ma'am.
And you share, this is how I began my recovery with your testimony. So I think it's just an excellent way for people to, to be able to grasp a hold of God.
Yes, ma'am.
And to at least, just like a 12-step program, at least open up to, be open to the possibility that God can help you.
Absolutely.
And you might need help in that area. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. And just like God, power of free will, like if you got to figure it out for yourself. It's not something that can be force fed to you, because it ain't gonna work if you don't figure it out for yourself. And that's the same with recovery. No one can help you recover. You have to help yourself. You have to get to a point in your life when you're ready to do anything and everything it takes to get better. To where I hit rock bottom, and I knew my daughter deserves better, and I deserve better than who I am right now, and it's time for me to get right.
And we do have so many veterans dealing with addiction. Part of the problem is, of course, the prescription drugs that many of them need.
Yes.
And just a system that has to take care of multitudes of people. After 10, 11-year deployments, we have just a multitude of people. So the vet is the person that can come and stay.
Yes.
Is there resources for the family?
Yes, we are actually working right now. We are building a facility for the family members. So for the for the guys who can't come away from their family, there'll be a place for them to stay. We have a family coordinator on staff who she works with the families every single day to make sure that they're getting what they need and that they're getting help as far as, on their end. So yes, we are eventually going to have a facility for the family members as well.
That's awesome. So if you're watching and you are a Christian ministry, because this has just been on my heart to connect Zach and the PTSD Foundation of America with other organizations that are helping vets in our region, or if you have a veteran that needs help, contact the information on the screen, because there is so much co-laboring going on, and certain organizations can meet a portion of the needs. We had an organization just on before you came on today that does some local work and meets some tangible needs, and yet they don't have a residential facility. So, you know, if we all do our part and co-labor together and connect. So I'm really hoping that you can connect with some of the things that are ministries that are already meeting needs of veterans, so that piece that you provide, which is a huge piece, can be offered to them.
Absolutely.
That's good. How long have you been with the organization, and did you actually go through the program?
Yes, ma'am. I went through the program. I graduated in 2014, and then they hired me right out of the program, and I've been hit the ground running ever since. It's my job now. I was a manager of development to help develop these chapters. You know, I was a mentor, and then I moved up, and this is what I do now. It's why I'm here in Killeen. We have what we call warrior groups, which is it's for the combat vets. It's literally a bunch of combat vets. We sit around a table, we eat food, and we work through our issues together. We also have a meeting for the family members as well, for the spouses and family members of the combat vet, because they have their own struggles as well. I mean, we put our families through a lot dealing with what we deal with, and that's why I'm here in Killeen. It's going to be at Memorial Baptist, 4001 Tremere Road. And
you're going to have a series of meetings.
Yes,
I know
every Wednesday.
Tonight you're having an initial meeting, but this won't air for that. But again, the information on the screen as they proceed. You can have a weekly meeting to begin with?
Every single Wednesday from 5:30 to 6, we'll have dinner, which will be provided. And then from 6 to 7 is the actual meeting. You know, the combat vets go to their meeting, and the family members go to their own as well.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, and that's right here on it's Tremere Road.
Yes, ma'am.
You know,
Memorial Baptist.
Memorial Baptist is on Tremere Road, so it's just directly behind the station. So easy access, and a lot of help is coming, you know, to our veterans, and we are in a region, of course, that we have a larger number of veterans retiring in Temple and Cove and all over our area than many places, with Fort Hood being here. So, Zach, this is just an incredible program. Again, Camp Hope in the PTSD Foundation of America is located in Houston, Texas. And Zach is a manager of development here in Killeen to establish a chapter, and there is a tremendous amount of help available for our veterans and fully financed. It's a 501c3, and donations pay for all of these services. The residential program is 4 to 6 months. So those of you that are connected with veterans that need this help, just call the information on the screen. We appreciate what you're doing. I'm glad to be the stational co-labor with you in any way that we can.
We really appreciate you having us. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, and thank you so much for watching us today on Attention Central Texas.